in like an existential thinking kind of way, like why not take Chris's advice and just do as much heroin you can until you die, because it probably doesn't really matter that much.
That also is my advice. Just do all the heroin until you die.
What?
Grown-up human comic people! Grown-up human comic people!
This is episode number 44 of Grown-Up Human Comic People. Welcome to the show. I'll go around the room and introduce the humans. To my left, Chris. J-Man.
Hey.
Daniel.
I'm here and happy to be back.
Good. I'm Jared. We are the humans. Welcome to the show. It's been a little while since we've had a show. We just haven't gotten a chance to, all get together, which is, unfortunate. But welcome back. For those of you who are still listening, we appreciate your loyalty. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com /grownuphumans. Rate and review us on iTunes and Google Music. We're also on Stitcher, Libsyn, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud at Grown Up Human Comic People, and Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Grown Up Humans. We've got our social media has been picking up because Chris has been taking the reins. So check out all our social media shit. Chris is always posting nonsense.
I am. It's amazing.
Also, Chris has been drinking for about 11 hours at this point today.
I have. And you know what? I love all of you.
He looks like he just came back from a bachelor party or something. I'm not sure what he looks. What would you say he looks like right now?
Right now, Chris looks like whenever you go to the zoo, you go into like the reptile cage, and there's like that one really big lizard, but it's just got like one arm up, and you're like, what the fuck is he doing? What's he doing with that arm? And its eyes are half closed. Like every once in a while, it just opens its mouth. That's what Chris looks like. Chris looks like a giant iguana,
like a lizard with a poorly regulated temperature.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I look fine. I'm just telling everybody right now, I look fine. I promised. Because I put a on our social media that we would say something about. I forget. Because I've been drunk for quite a bit now. But we had to say something.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I gotta go get my phone. I don't have it because we make a promise to each other. Here's the thing: we make a promise to each other that we don't have our phones or out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
what he just said was we don't allow our phones during the podcast.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't have our phones on us.
I need to go get mine.
He's apparently going to go get his phone. He's taking it to the office headphones. Going to get his phone. So.
We made a promise to each other. You said you'd never do this.
It's not in the box?
No, it's not in the box. I don't know where he found it. Okay. So we're sponsored by Southside Comics. Go to 1931 East Carson Street. Check out the comic book shop down there. Say hi to Dan and to everybody else who works there. And get your comic fix down there. We're also sponsored by Radical Trivia. Check out radicaltrivia.com. Lots of fun trivia events around Pittsburgh. And go out and have a good time for free. And we'll plug also Midnight Rose. J-Man, you say something about the band?
Yeah, we got some shows coming up. I can't remember. 14th.
The 14th of October. October.
Yeah.
That will be at it's called La Creme, I think it's called.
Yeah.
We're apparently opening for Living Color. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's an outdoor festival. It's free.
It's in Allentown. We will be playing at 4:45. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to this, you will have time to go to that show. So check that out. And then go to metamesh.org. They bring free internet to people who need it.
We're also at Cativo next month, too.
Oh, yeah, we'll be at Cativo next month as well.
We've talked about that up before, but just
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
With a mock
Right.
20th.
20th, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's about it for the sponsors and the plug and everything. So Dan brought up earlier, we were talking earlier this evening about apparently some crazy shit is happening at Cuba. I don't know what that means. Please.
Yeah.
Dan?
So
Wait, time out. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
We had a contest on our page
Oh yeah.
as to who would have their Facebook page.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Yes. Said on the air. And our good friend Amok
Right.
won.
Yep.
Oh,
and
nice.
he elected Jer
I forgot about this.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
to say what he wanted to say.
So
On the air.
hand him on the phone. Hand J-Man the phone, and
Yeah.
Jared
there
can
you go.
read whatever
You
it
got-
is he
Jer has to
has
say this.
Ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers, and they pockets full blown. And all you fellas, leave your girl with a friend because it's 11:30 and the club is bumping.
I believe the lyric is actually jumping, right? It's jumping. It's yeah.
But I feel I feel
like
like he might have.
Is this a
This
song?
might have been an artistic interpretation of that song.
Maybe, perhaps, yeah.
Is this a song?
Yeah, it's Destiny's Child.
Oh, okay.
You definitely know the song. It's Ladies, leave your man at home.
Oh, you're right. Oh,
Yeah.
I do know this.
Friends, get us at 11:30. And the
I thought
club
this was
is
just some
jumping,
ridiculous
jumping.
shit.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I did
and then
too.
what's the?
I did too.
What's the?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I don't know the words, but
This is
Yeah.
is before Bay was Bay.
yeah, it honestly that song gets pretty hype.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, if I think that's the word to get it.
Gives a little turn and get
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
No,
that
maybe
tongue.
that's maybe I'm using that out of context.
No, that song definitely turns up.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
we go with that nonsense.
So
Thanks.
shout out to
Amok.
Amok.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
for
Ryan.
See ya. Sorry.
He's been on the show before. Check him out. Check out Amok. Look up AMUCK on Facebook and all the music things. He's got some pretty sweet raps out there, so check that shit out.
He's probably going to be like, you didn't even know it was a song.
All right.
Stupid bastard.
Now Dan with Cuba.
fill us in, man.
Man,
We need that.
I would like to start this segment off with Jer's saying this is
Oh, this is dog shit.
dog shit. This is actual dog shit.
Okay.
So
I don't even know what he's talking about, but it's dog.
Oh, dude, this is
This is the
serious.
first time I'm hearing this too.
This is serious dog shit. So recently, like within the last year, I think it was last October, so like 11 months ago, right before Obama got out of office, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna reestablish relationships with Cuba, and foster some relationship that isn't hostile." And then Trump there were two ways around. What's that saying? Anyway, Trump was like, "Fuck this. I'm not into this. I don't like this idea for whatever reason. I don't
He's
know."
a dickhead.
Well, yeah, because he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
So just recently, this was just was it 2 days ago? Yesterday, the U.S. diplomats were saying that they were feeling nauseated, had cognitive fuzziness, cognitive dysfunction. They were dizzy, nauseous, cognitive haze, tired, and immediately the government was like, "Oh, this is clearly an attack on U.S. diplomats. This is an attack." They removed. There's only like 27 people left at the embassy, like including the Marines that guard the embassy, and they stopped giving visas to Cubans for Cubans to come to the U.S. and like visit family who may have been here, who they may have haven't seen in
Right.
however many years, maybe their entire lives. And it's crazy. It's insane. And Trump is saying, he's not elaborating. He's saying something really bad happened in Cuba. Something really bad. And Marco Rubio is saying we should attack We should respond with more force. You know, and this sounds like such bullshit. As soon as I read it, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. I think it's called the Northwood Incident or Operation Northwoods.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Which is during. Let me just do a little fact checking here. But what happened was Operation Northwoods was, let me see, 1962. Okay, was when this memorandum was sent out. But essentially, what they were going to do was blow up a fucking U.S. plane. Mm-hmm. They were going to blow up a plane, and blame it on the Cubans.
Yeah, it was it's one of those crazy conspiracies that later on we found out that shit was real.
It was real.
Yeah, it was a real conspiracy.
And if anybody has any questions, or any doubts, it's not conjecture. There's this memorandum, or
there's all kinds of documented proof. Yeah,
right.
They're really going to do it.
You can see it. Like the first response will take you to an actual copy of the the declassified document.
Yeah.
But this is crazier yet. Like, why not just blow something up instead of saying like they're attacking our people with shit that makes them like dizzy and nauseous, and we're going to use that. Like, that's the platform. That's the terrorism. Like,
what's the like? What? Why would they do that to us?
What other proof do they even have?
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Did
like,
did they like have Popeyes that day? Or something? Like, what
right?
was-
Like,
Oh yeah, if they ate Indian food or Popeyes or something,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with those side effects.
yeah. I mean, I experience 75% of these side effects on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like, I wake up and I'm like, fuck, I can't think.
They're all
Sometimes
working
I-
together. They just got sick.
Yeah, like I make bad choices all the time with relating to food and drink.
Yeah.
I mean, and those are well within the parameters of bad choices.
On that note, can you pass the Heaven Hill?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is definitely within tolerances for like when I wake up the next day like, man, why did I eat Popeyes? Why did I get real high and eat Popeyes while I was playing Minecraft until 5 a.m?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or for instance, this morning, whenever I woke up and it was 6 a.m., I went downstairs and ate a bunch of barbecued Fritos. went back to bed.
Why do you have barbecued Fritos in your house?
No, they weren't mine.
Oh, okay.
And
So you went down and stole a bunch of barbecued Fritos from a passerby. You open the door like the first person. He's like, "Hey, give me all the food you got right now."
I have a quarterback of barbecued Fritos and some Mountain Dew.
Like, give me that. Get the fuck out of here.
My grandma bought me that plate.
I said, get the fuck out of here. Walk a different way home next time. Don't let me just get you out here again.
You see, I'm a hungry man. So I think, I mean, I don't know. I could speculate as to why they did this, but ultimately what they did following removing, the majority of these like diplomats and U.S. like embassy workers, they put a travel advisory out, right? Telling people not to travel down there. It's dangerous. And another thing that it could affect is like insurance companies who are insuring these cruises and all of these other services or I don't know, like vacation, tourism, this tourism industry, they insure. So like if, some boat's pulling into Havana and it fucking sinks and everybody dies, and, so they have to be paid out, or somebody,
Right.
Something terrible happens. So if the insurance companies wouldn't write a policy to support this, it could be a fairly substantial blow to like what is a quickly developing tourism industry in Cuba. I mean, they've all, like, Europeans have been going there forever. Canadians have been going there forever in the same way that we probably go to the Bahamas or any of the other islands. But the U.S., I think, from what I've gathered, has been a pretty sizable injection of, like, tourism money.
Well, if you tell Americans they can't do something for, like, 60 years, and then you're like, you know what? Go ahead. Everyone's going to be like, oh, fuck! I can get those cigars now that everyone talks about.
Right, and they're as good as they say they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are.
I
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
them
they are.
one.
Yeah, yeah, you're sorry. Yeah,
I brought
They
some
are.
home.
Yeah, they are.
And additionally in South America, like Like it's the safest country. Cuba is. Right. So tourism's super safe there.
Right.
So I mean I can't fathom. But for me, I saw this and I was like, holy shit. Like this is crazy. This is crazy. This is like the equivalent of, not wanting to be in school and walking up and be like, I have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
Oh, clearly this is a terrorist attack. Shut the school down. Lock the doors. Call the parents.
Weren't you just there? Weren't you just in Cuba?
Yeah, I was just in Cuba
yeah.
in March.
Yeah.
It was great.
And you're fine. You feel fine.
I feel great, dude. I feel fantastic.
You had a nice trip.
I had a very nice trip. I still feel good. I felt good there. I feel good now.
You said it wasn't expensive.
It wasn't
was
expensive.
nice.
Really nice accommodations for
Yeah,
like
cool
$20.
old cars.
Yeah, a ton of old cars. I took old cars all over that, like the north and south coast of Cuba.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
This just goes further to support my theory of Donald Trump being an actual supervillain.
Yeah,
Like if a real life actual supervillain, like maybe the first since Hitler.
Dude,
Or Stalin?
No, you're pushing way too hard there. No, don't go that far.
I don't know.
He has not killed millions yet. Okay,
all right, that's fair. Okay,
You're comparing the Holocaust to him. Like, come on.
okay, that's fair. But
that is way.
yeah, that's
You're
too much.
Jewish.
It's
Like,
too much.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right. Okay.
I have to interject.
That's
here.
too much. That's too much.
I do.
But in the same way that like you can't understand someone's motivations beyond them just living out like a power fantasy.
yeah, absolutely. And him, I mean, he's just crazy. Everybody who's listening to this and has any inclination, just Google Trump responds to Cuba attacks or something. And it's just him saying, they did some really bad stuff down there. It's really bad stuff. It's really bad stuff. And he raises his stupid hand and he walks away. That was it. That was his response. Really bad stuff. Can you elaborate? Can anybody elaborate?
I can't. No, I'm going to.
He was there.
I was there.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear this. Please go ahead.
First off, this
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 is almost
president-
funny if you can see Chris's face right now.
no, this president is the biggest pussy I've ever seen. I've never seen a president this childish. And here's what he did today. Okay, this happened today. This I don't know when this is going to come out. When is this going to come out? Do you guys know?
This Wednesday. So yeah,
Yeah?
this week.
Several days from now.
The next coming Wednesday.
So like
Yeah.
the first
4
week
days,
of
5
October.
days.
Yeah.
This is today. The president of our country. The president of our country said that Puerto Rico, who is decimated at this point, you were talking about Cuba, but Puerto Rico is done. Like they are absolutely, they're just begging at this point for any help whatsoever.
Because the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, hurricanes. The president of the United States of America said they don't want to help themselves.
What?
That happened.
Does he know that they're like part of our thing?
No. He doesn't.
They. He really? Did he
They
really
don't
say that?
Oh yeah, look it up right now. Yeah. No, that happened today. He said that in a tweet because he does not do anything other than tweets.
I think that his entire what he thinks the presidency is sitting at the White House and tweeting. Like I don't. It doesn't seem like he does anything else other than tweet.
Well, no, he's played a lot of golf. He's played.
Oh, right. There's a lot
I
of
think
golf
there
played.
were however many golf games.
No.
But to avoid like getting too much onto, I mean, everybody knows. Fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Fuck this. Fuck this entire administration.
Yeah.
Fuck these people.
Yeah.
The reality is, though, we are living in a time where people are getting sick to their stomach in their they're calling terrorist attacks. Like this is where we are, And there's a whole bunch of people who are jumping on board.
Oh,
There's a whole bunch of people who are like, oh, yeah.
it's the same people who probably voted for him, who just have no fucking idea what's going on. They just want to because they feel like they're downtrodden and they're ignorant and poor, like that someone owes them something, and they need to have some kind of. There's a reason why that they're not doing well. Like there's like it's someone else's fault that they're not doing well.
Right.
It's literally what they're saying about other people is what they're themselves are doing.
Right.
It's like when someone's like, "Yeah, see that guy? He's lazy and fat, and he's uneducated, and he's that's why he's asking for all this welfare." It's like, dude, so are you.
Yeah. I would just like everyone who's listening to this who has any inclination to go to Cuba. Flights from Pittsburgh are $250 round trip.
Wow.
From
Get the
Pittsburgh
fuck
to
outta
Cuba.
here.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like $250.
Holy shit, that's cheap.
That's
Yeah.
You fly from Pittsburgh.
Why is
to,
that so cheap? I mean, the jet fuel costs the same no matter where you go.
I mean, 'cause it's not that far, right? So you fly from Pittsburgh to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pittsburgh to Fort Lauderdale, that's a few hour flight. And then from Fort Lauderdale to Havana is 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's just
it's
so cheap.
Yeah, I guess not that far away.
It's not far away at
Yes
all.
and no. I don't know.
And
I guess you probably could just fly straight there.
no, because you have to make a stop where there's like some sort of, I think there's a Cuban consulate or something. You have
I
to
just
do
mean
like
it's not physically impossible. I mean, you could fly straight there if you wanted
You
to.
can fly
Oh
straight
yeah,
anywhere
dude!
you wanted to.
You can
Well,
fucking
yeah.
you can fly from New York to Tokyo. Like
Right.
that's a real thing. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a very small margin of that distance.
Yeah.
So everybody should do it. I was thinking as soon as I read that and they were like, oh, there's not a travel ban but a travel advisory. Dude, I'm tempted to spend $250 to go down and just go talk to people. Like, hey man, like, what happened? What do you think happened? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I'm not sick. Why isn't there like shit in the newspaper about like hundreds of Cubans? Are they able to just isolate? And they were saying additionally that there were tourist-centric accommodations, hotels, whatever, that were also being targeted because that's where some of the embassy people were living. And it's like, well, then why isn't there more about this? Why isn't there anything else? Why is it just the...
If it was a terrorist attack, they did a really bad job because they
Yeah.
only just like gave people a cold.
Yeah, they give them like salmonella. Like,
Yeah,
what was the end goal? Exactly.
Like to make them like have just like one shitty day.
It's a bad. It's not only a bad job that way. It's a bad job of like we don't even really know that something happened. Like the whole point of a terrorist attack is to create terror.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, what happened? I don't.
That's like if
I'm
something
not-
exploded like out in a field, you'd be like,
You're
"Was
like,
that?
did you guys hear something?"
Because it
Right.
didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
Furthermore, what's Cuba's end game in like attacking the fucking the U.S. embassy? What do they want to do? No, they're like, dude, listen,
Come here now.
Cubans,
You can buy stuff here now.
yeah,
Please.
and Cuban citizens, go to America because once you get there, you're going to be sending a ton of money back to your family here because they don't make any money, and you're just going to be fueling our economy more. There is no reason. There's no reason.
This benefits no one.
Yeah.
If it were terrorists, they did a bad job. Both Cuba and the U.S. have many things to gain from being friends. Whose plan is this?
Yeah, it's in fact the only thing not the only thing. One of the things that I could see it playing to in terms of like the agenda for this, like saying like we're being attacked.
Oh, Trump.
So they cut off visas for Cubans to come to the States, right? They're still allowing tourism, so U.S. citizens can still go down to Cuba. They're not cutting off like cruise ships, and Americans can travel to Cuba fine, and also American companies are still able to operate in Cuba fine. The only thing that it's really impacting are Cubans' abilities to come here, which part of Trump's big
makes
fucking
sense.
agenda with the immigration, it's like, oh, okay, now Cubans can't come here.
That makes sense. So basically, it's putting us like in our little house in the mountain, where we can go and do whatever the fuck we want, go down the mountain, but no one's allowed up the mountain.
Right, exactly.
Right. Well, I honestly think that's what a lot of them like dumb middle of the country Americans want. Oh yeah, no, I love traveling. I've been all over the place. But no, wait a minute, Mexicans here? Oh no, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Not on American soil. It's like, fuck you, man.
Right. So, anyway, guys, go to Cuba. They have the best rum in the world. Best rum in the world.
They do, and
Like,
yeah,
hands down.
yeah.
And probably the best cigars. I mean, I'm not a whatever you are if you fucking smoke a lot of aficionado.
I was gonna say, it's like a cigar? Is there a word that to denote someone who is a cigar person?
I don't know, but if there is, I'd hate it.
Yeah, it sounded really pretentious. It would have to be in Spanish because that's the only way it would be acceptable to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a cigaristo.
Yeah.
I can give you on that. Like.
Yeah, okay. I'm cool with that. I'm a cigaristo. So are you? Is that,
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to, I don't know, maybe we'll get some feedback.
Yeah. I mean,
People write in, put some stuff on our wall. If you can make any more sense of this, then we can.
yeah. Tell us what you think about this whole nonsense.
Or tell us what the world knows, actually, because I'm finding that the only thing we know is that some people felt foggy-headed and had a stomach ache. Like, welcome to fucking middle age, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Go drink some fucking orange juice and take a vitamin C pill.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch.
Jesus Christ.
So I had this idea a while ago, and I totally forgot to bring it up. Unless I did, if I did, tell me. I thought we should have a segment instead of the segment Jer solves everything. If we have a user segment that's Ask Jer, so if you have a question,
Yeah.
you want Jer to answer, or you have a problem you want him to solve for you, write it on the Facebook or email us or send it to whatever, any social media, Instagram, fucking whatever. Just send that in, and Jamin, I think
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll straighten you out.
Yeah, he'll straighten. He will solve whatever shit you. Yeah, exactly. So that's the new segment. Write in Ask Jer if you want some. I'm gonna put a hashtag for that down here today.
Is it going to be hashtag Ask Jer or Jer solves everything? Sort of like Sabrina. Sabrina solves. Or not Sabrina. Who was it? Sabrina? The fucking. She played Sabrina the Witch, but it was the other show from.
Clarissa?
Clarissa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Clarissa.
Melissa
Jer
Joan
explains
Hart.
it all.
Clarissa explains it all. Yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jer explains it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Na 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 na.
That was a great show.
It's a great
Yeah.
show. I always like. Some people didn't think she was like good on that show, or but I thought she was amazing. Like,
Wait a minute. They said she wasn't good on that show?
I don't know. I know some people don't like that show.
She's like 13 or 14 playing like on a
Nickelodeon.
Snick, on a Snick show.
Was it? I guess it was on Snick.
It
for a
was
while.
on Snick. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't initially on. I don't think it was initially on Snick. I think they put it on Snick after a while.
Yeah.
It was already on for a
She was
little
like a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Fuck those people. Like, that was the show that kind of established what I looked for in a woman between the ages of when I started watching that at 10.
Yeah.
And
Because she was like cute and also like real interesting and like had like a very like wacky kind of.
Yeah.
Like she wore like a bunch of weird shit that like 90s shit that was I
Yeah.
guess like cutting edge style.
Right. Like, not giving a fuck, like somewhere between like Punky Brewster and Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't like her in that. Oh, really? Would you like the fucking pianist?
You sound like
you
an
idiot?
adult.
Yeah. You sound like somebody that Clarissa wouldn't have hung out with anyway, dude.
Do you remember back in the I feel like this is not the case anymore. Remember when it was when we grew up, it was like kids versus adults all the time.
Yeah.
Like adults were just like the lamest people in the world and like, kids were cool. It was so cool.
Twisted Sister sang an anthem to it. The Beastie Boys sang an anthem to it.
Like what? Because I feel like that's not the case now because people like our age have kids and stuff and like they're like, oh no, I'm cool. I know what the kids are into. Like I got social media. Like my fucking I know plenty of quote unquote like people who the previous generation who now have Facebook and stuff like that.
Right.
Where I would have been like, they're never gonna have Facebook. No way. No, they won't know how to use that shit. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong. But yeah, it seems like back in the day it was always like, hey kids, don't let your parents find out, but Sign up for Nickelodeon magazine.
But like being a cool parent now involves like, I'm totally open with my kids. I talk to them about everything. It's like, well, actually, you might be fucking them up too.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't need to know about everything.
Right.
Maybe there is some bliss in the ignorance of childhood.
Yeah.
Maybe being a cool parent is just not being a shitty human. Like, don't be a shitty human.
Yeah, maybe don't talk to your kid about everything, but like just let them know that you love them.
Yeah.
And keep them secure from most of the shitty stuff as long as possible.
Support them.
Yeah.
Whatever weird endeavor
Right.
like they're getting into, like just support them in that weird thing.
Right.
That's it.
Unless it's like harmful to others.
Yeah, or like intravenous drugs or any drugs before
Yeah.
the age of
Yeah.
14.
I would. If I had kids, I think I would explain to them that like drugs aren't bad necessarily. But they are sometimes too good,
right. Right.
and that's what makes them dangerous.
Right. The issue is that it is an unnatural level of good.
You know,
feeling.
you know what I do? If my kid was like, "Can I get this candy?" Yeah, sure. Can I get this candy? Yeah. Can I get this candy? Yeah. Can I eat this all right now? Yeah, go ahead. And like, I don't feel so good. Don't do drugs. Drop the mic. And that's why I don't do drugs.
Just like retching up like Snickers bars and like mixed with M&Ms and Skittles
Yep.
and Jolly Ranchers, and it's just like this
Yep.
fucking big gross.
The kid is bouncing off the walls for like 4 hours, and then finally is like, I think I need to lay down. Oh yeah, you don't say. Yeah, and that is kind of what heroin is like. Only worse. You know, you feel pretty bad right now, huh? Yeah. No. Have you heard of heroin? No.
No, Dad,
Well.
I'm 6.
Well, it's worse than this, so don't do it.
Does it taste as good? Better.
Oh, it's way better. But the way you feel right now, you're going to feel 1,000 times worse than that. So just don't. Just steer clear.
I love how everybody thinks that heroin doesn't feel great. It's awesome.
Well, that's what we're saying. Of
Yeah.
course, I've never tried it, but like, I can only imagine how awesome it feels because you see someone who has a problem with heroin. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
you look like you feel like shit all the time,
No.
but they don't because they're on heroin a lot.
Yeah. Kids. I mean, you should probably do heroin. I'm just saying.
I mean, heroin is so good, you're willing to give up your shoes, your house, your teeth, your hygiene, most of your close relationships.
Yeah.
You're willing to give up everything. It is so good, you will give up everything for heroin. That's how good it is.
You should do heroin. You should. Let's all, I mean, you know.
Like how many things, like if somebody was like, all right, you could have this ice cream every day, but in order to do that, you have to give up everything. And it's like, ooh, maybe.
In most cases, you'd be like, no, absolutely not.
No, but with heroin.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Give me some heroin. Let me slap that vein.
I mean, yeah, it's so crazy. The thing that really the thing that must be the best though. So I feel like there's some relationship between how good a drug is and how terrible you look after you've been doing it for a while.
Absolutely.
So crocodile might be the best drug on earth,
Maybe.
like the number one, numero uno. Like
I think maybe that's a result of heroin being so good that people like just try to get as close as possible to heroin.
Disagree.
Okay, I know that you haven't done crocodile.
No, I have not. All right. But it's easy. That's the thing.
But that's what I'm saying. It's easier than getting heroin.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Yeah.
wait,
Easy is...
you could get crocodile. Like I
No,
know
you make a crocodile.
No, but you need like all like the constituent part. You need
Yeah,
like
like
codeine
pseudo
and
and-
it's,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you can get that stuff. You can't like. It's way more difficult to make heroin at home. Crocodiles it's like the people who have like, they're like the bottom of the barrel. Like
It's like
they
crack.
exactly.
cocaine,
Exactly. Crocodile is to heroin what crack is to
cocaine.
cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. It's probably pretty hard to make heroin at home. But I don't know. I've never tried.
I don't either. I have no idea what ingredients.
That should be one of the Weber Cooks videos.
Yeah.
Weber Cooks heroin.
God.
Here's how desperate you have to be for crocodile. Like, from what I understand, I don't know, but from what I understand, like, heroin isn't necessarily particularly expensive. Like, you can get heroin like pretty, like, compared to other things, like pretty cheap. Like,
Yeah.
But think about how cheap it is. Then you are so addicted to heroin, you can't get heroin because you have nothing at all. So you have to, like, steal, like, prescription drugs from a drugstore and make crocodile. That's what crocodile is.
Yeah, unless it's because I mean I don't think crocodile's really in the U.S.
No,
because there's like
so.
a pretty healthy heroin industry.
This is America. We do heroin here. We're not like those crazy fucking Russians over there. We're not. We're not Neanderthals. Jesus.
Yeah, so I guess it's just kind of like supply and demand. Like, you know, if you're in jail or prison or something, you got some of that hooch, that garbage bag hooch.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Who knows? Maybe that stuff sells for like $60 a bottle in prison, just
Exactly.
because like you never pay $60 for garbage bag hooch out.
No.
on the outside, as they say.
So in comparison with the U.S., Russia is prison.
Russia is prison, and crocodile is like garbage bag hooch.
Those fucking animals. We have heroin over here. So getting to, I feel like this actually goes really well. And like, so I've written down, I have Rick and Morty and I have World of Tomorrow, which I feel are both like existentially heavy things.
Yeah, World of Tomorrow for sure. I don't.
You really
know
need to
Rick and Morty as much as you guys.
You need to get more Rick and Morty in your life.
Yeah, you do.
Because there's like more than at least once an episode I go, oh, Jesus Christ. Because it hits you in a place where you're like, I don't want to think about that. I don't think I can think about that.
Yeah, I just started. I used to watch bits and pieces. Anyway, so yes.
Yeah.
Existentially heavy themed.
Yeah, because when we were talking about the drugs just now, and like part of my brain's like, well, you know, in like an existential thinking kind of way, like why not take Chris's advice and just do as much heroin you can until you die, because it probably doesn't really matter that much.
That also is my advice. Just do all the heroin until you die.
Well, and I mean, sort of going like one iteration out from there. So segueing into the world of tomorrow, the reason that anyone does heroin is because they've lost meaning. Right? Things have become so hard. They've lost meaning to continue moving forward. And the one line in the World of Tomorrow that resonated with me was when her future self was talking to her, talking to Emily Prime, and she was like, "It can get really, sad out here because we're all longing for something that's long forgotten."
Well, something you can't describe.
No. She said longing for something long forgotten.
Oh, I thought she said something longing for something that's indescribable that you can't put your finger on. I mean, I don't know. I could be misremembering it.
Because it was the part where she was kind of extracting the memories.
Yeah.
So just to give people a brief synopsis,
We should tell people what this
World
we're
of
talking
Tomorrow.
about.
It's a short animated film.
It's Don Hertzfeldt, and it's on Netflix. It's only about 15 minutes long. You can watch it literally right now. You could have watched it while we were talking up until this point on this podcast. It's really good. It's pretty deep. So,
And it's projecting forward like a few hundred years from where we are currently to the point where people are uploading their consciousness. There's like maybe the singularity happened, but what you have are clones that are essentially reproductions of individuals, and memories are their consciousness. The consciousness of the original, the prime individual, are then transferred back into each new version of the clone. right? So there's a clone that's 270 some years older than one of the main characters, Emily Prime, and she has almost all of the memories from Emily Prime from the 270 some years prior. But what's happening is in the future, the not too distant future, the asteroid's about to hit the Earth. This clone is starting to experience this existential dread, this sadness, and she comes back ultimately to see the original Emily Prime to get the memory of her walking with her mother.
Yeah.
Because she had lost that memory along the way. And there's an asteroid about to hit the Earth. Everybody's going to die. And the days leading up to this impact, she wants to be able to like sit with this memory.
Yeah.
But one of she gives her all of the words of wisdom and caution that I think every reasonably thoughtful human being gives to any other reasonably thoughtful human being experiencing some sort of like distress or sadness, which is like, don't toil too much in like the day-to-day stuff. Like that all disappears in time, like those aren't the things that really matter. Like be present, be awake. And so Emily Prime, we should say too, is like a toddler.
Yeah.
She's like 2 or 3.
She's only barely making words.
Yeah.
She's not really even speaking complete sentences most of the time.
And she's adorable.
Yes.
She's like a really adorable.
Yeah, whoever voiced that character did a great job.
Yeah.
I think they may have just shown a child pictures and said, say what you see.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Right. When she's changing colors of so there's the internet, and then in the future they have the outer net where you can actually affect reality just with your thoughts and your words.
Yeah.
And she's changing the colors of like blue and green and brown.
Yeah. She has brown twice in a row.
Yeah. Which is like totally something an excited little kid would do.
Yeah.
Like
Brown.
you're so excited.
Brown. Oh, yeah. Okay, makes sense.
It didn't change. Oh, it's the same one. But the one thing that, again, bring it back around to heroin and bring it back around to, I think, most of the existential sort of issues that a lot of us face is kind of that longing for something. We don't know what it is.
Right.
And as we get older, we drink more. We get high more because like we feel that. We feel whatever it is that it's like something's missing. There's like a little bit of something missing, and it's like, what is that thing?
I would venture so far as to say that I'm pretty sure it's just like you can't go back in time. Like you can't we are literally losing something every second we exist. We're losing the thing that just happened a little bit.
Right. And we're losing cells, and we're losing the bacteria that keep us alive, and we're literally shedding these things.
Yeah.
Like things are where our entire body is made up of things that we rely on that are constantly dying.
Right, but in a bigger way, like more like culture, like what we remember as kids is no longer. That's not how things work anymore. Like we all of us here remember a time whenever everyone didn't have a cell phone, and so like that is a time that will never come again.
Yeah.
Like whenever you had no choice but to call someone on their house phone, and I'm sure that maybe when the telephone came out, people were like, this is bullshit. What? This guy, he's always at home on the phone. He's on the phone. He's talking to everybody on the phone. I used to see Jim all the time at the tavern.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, I used to see him, whatever people used to do back in the day whenever there weren't phones. Like,
Spends all day yakking on a squawk box now.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure that there were people at that time. They're like, I remember when there weren't phones. Remember, you had to go to someone's house, or you had to send them a letter.
Right.
You just had to go there.
But I'll tell you what, I've had in my life in my adult life, in my older adult life, 2 experiences, and one was the first time that I'd done ayahuasca. It was part of this ayahuasca ceremony.
You've only had 2 experiences,
huh?
Just 2?
Yeah, 2 experiences of what I'm about to say.
I was being an asshole. You said in my adult life I've had 2 experiences.
Oh yeah, in my life I've experienced 2 things.
So you just go home and sit.
Well, that would essentially like constitute an experience. So
I guess it depends on how you
This is
classify
one
experiences.
experience, and then I enter back into the void. Like reality opens up. I enter back into nothingness. At which point I entirely lose consciousness before I'm ejected back. So this is my second experience.
I was thinking, like, one experience is everything that's ever happened in your house and everything else.
No, but this feeling of having taken taken the ayahuasca, and I remember going to this place, and it looked like a pachinko parlor or something in Tokyo. It was like real high tech and
Neon lights,
and things kind of like floating around, and I had the most intense feel, like in my chest. Like thinking back on it now, I can still feel part of that feeling. That was like, how could I have ever forgotten about this? Like, this is it. Like, yeah. Like, how could I have ever forgotten about you? Like, and like, think it was like you as a, I mean, it wasn't a person, it wasn't a thing, it wasn't a figure, it was I guess a feeling. Like this place. And I was like, fuck. Like, I can't believe I ever forgot about you.
Right.
Like, this is what it is, and there were these kind of like almost like neon, like one-dimensional, almost like fish type things, and like word bubbles that just said things like "woot" in them, like WOOT, and like something else. But none of that. It wasn't like, oh, these things. It was like, no, this feeling of
like
what.
When I'm visualizing, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I'm literally thinking of what at the end of the night at like Kennywood, when a park isn't closed yet, but like you're not old enough to stay the whole time. When you're leaving and people are still having fun and the lights are on, and you're walking past, like I'm thinking walking past the Jackrabbit where there was a pachinko machine, and they're like the lights are on, and there's like a bunch of like prizes you can win, and being like, but I just want to stay for 5 more minutes.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's exactly what it. In this pachinko parlor, which was like one giant pachinko game, the number one prize you could win. Like, I'm like, I was in this space. I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, of course. I can't believe I ever forgot. And then I realized that the thing that you won was just like presents to everything. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, like how neat.
It's a good prize.
Yeah, it's like the best prize. It's like the best prize in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
If that was a prize, you would just sit around grinning all the time.
you're right, because you would get to be.
You'd probably be really annoying. You'd be
You
like,
would.
Hey, just appreciate it right now. Just right now. I want you to appreciate this right now.
No,
all the
because
time.
you'd be too busy appreciating them for who they were and like their neuroses. Like, that person would look at me and they'd be like, "Oh my God, look at him. He's fucking stressed out. Like why is he not getting it? He's funny. He's always worked up."
No one's ever been stressed out like him before right now. This is a unique stressor that he's experiencing. He should really be drinking it in.
Right. And so I've had a couple moments where I feel like I felt that again, that thing that we long for, that we forget about, that we can't remember. I feel like I had a couple experiences of remembering that were like, oh, that feels really good.
Right.
It feels really good to be in that space.
Right. Like in your unconscious mind, in your drug experience, you don't exactly. Like your mind doesn't know what it is that you're missing, but like it creates a thing to represent that, and you're like, oh, there it is. That's it. Like this pachinko parlor, this feeling in here. This is what I want.
Right. But I mean, for me, I don't necessarily entirely explain it in a way that's like neurological or physiological, because it feels like in that moment, that was a gift that was like, oh, hey, this is that feeling.
Right.
This is why you find yourself, drinking or, recreationally getting high or, doing whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? Like jerking off at 3 a.m, just to go back to sleep, feeling like some emptiness, watching, whatever your thing is. You know what I mean? If it's jerking off, if it's smoking weed constantly, if it's getting drunk a lot, if it's doing dope, if it's doing heroin. You know, this thing that's just like, I want some comfort.
Right.
Jerking off at 3 a.m. isn't bad.
I was just gonna say, can we just address that real fast? Like, I
Yeah,
feel like there's
uh,
absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm imagining, you know, this dude at 3 a.m. with like a fucking like callous, like raw sore cock, just like what more?
He's just whenever he finishes, nothing comes out.
Yeah, it's just like
Like, yeah, he just. For one moment, it feels great, and then it just goes to being like sore, like really sore. Like he's just honestly, that's kind of what I imagine like being super addicted to a really hard drug would be like. It's like just for that one moment of like coming, even though nothing's coming out. Like the rest of the time, you can't even touch your dick. Like the rest,
right.
you can't even deal with anything the rest of the time until you can just get that little bump.
Yeah,
At the end.
a little something.
That's horrifying to me. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Thinking back on it, though, I guess Tomorrowland is ultimately
World Tomorrow. That's Tomorrowland is a different movie.
Tomorrow. Oh yeah, Tomorrowland is
George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops. I'm not endorsing that movie.
I haven't seen it.
Neither have I, but I'm not endorsing it. That's because I haven't seen it.
I do like him though.
But Escape from Neverland is a weird one you should check out. But anyway, World of Tomorrow. I think it also addresses the fact that no matter how much we try to, you know, put our lives and our happiness in a state of being perpetually alive, that will end also. Even if we can get our even if we can upload our consciousness, if we can have these clones that are essentially us with our memories and our feelings and our experiences that are 400 years in the future, when that asteroid hits, and this, you know, or the sun burns out or whatever happens, like it's all coming to an end.
Yeah.
So for me, it seemed like Tomorrowland was this like not putting your happiness, putting your mind in tomorrow, like putting your mind sort of in today, like not what's that quote? Tomorrow, the place where 90% of action exists, or like something along those lines, where 90% of but essentially like I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll be happy tomorrow.
Right.
I'll be, I'll be fit tomorrow. I'll make those decisions tomorrow. Everything. Where I forget what the exact quote is, but essentially, like Tomorrowland is a place that ends to like there's
World of Tomorrow.
Fuck.
You said it earlier too.
I know. Like I said it earlier.
I know there's at least one listener out there who's like he just said it wrong again. Is someone going to say something? Because I know I do that sometimes. Like you're listening to a podcast and you're like, that's not someone else. Someone say something about that. That's not right.
Yeah. Or when somebody uses a word incorrectly.
Oh yeah.
Like, huh. And then I do it, and I'm like, oh well, at least they did it too.
Yeah.
They're super famous. They have a million downloads.
But no, you're right. Like tomorrow is a place you can never get to.
Tomorrow's a place where you never get to.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a place that there's only today.
Yeah.
Like you never get to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, you can't get tomorrow. You can't get to yesterday either, I guess.
Right. But like yesterday was actually a thing that happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why tomorrow is exciting, but also depressing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's exciting because it's where like all of the potential.
What the fuck? What are we all talking about?
Oh, you woke up.
No, I have been here for quite some time. What is happening?
Well, you've been sleeping on and off.
No, I've been here the entire time.
Okay, that's not what we said. We said we didn't question your presence. You have been sitting here the whole time. That's true. I took a picture of Chris earlier, and I'll post it to the Instagram because he looks like he's been through some things
Yeah.
today.
A poorly climate controlled aquarium.
What are we talking about at this point?
Well, just to catch you up real quick, tomorrow
Chris
is a
looks like
place, a time that doesn't exist. It's a work of fiction, and
He looks like a campaign manager.
he's Trump's campaign manager. Like, I did this. This is my fault.
No, he's Hillary's campaign manager.
Oh yeah, actually, that's yeah.
He's like, I just don't understand what else we could have done.
I'm done. I can't figure it out. I can't.
All right. Well, Chris looks like he's about to die, so let's wrap this up. Anything else?
No, I'm in agreement. Chris
Okay.
is definitely dying. His condition's been declining now for a solid
Many hours.
2 hours.
I'm fine.
In his defense, we also fed him poultry after he had been drinking for like 7 hours.
Is that what happened? He was like, okay, until a minute ago.
I wouldn't say it was okay.
No, I was sitting here listening to everything. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No, he hasn't been okay for a while now.
No.
I mean, like, just before the podcast. That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean, yeah.
He's been riding the sine wave of
Gesundheit.
bless you. He's been riding that sine wave of of gableness, but it's like it's been the peaks were becoming like less in less high. They're like getting.
He hasn't quite become bobblehead Gable yet, so that's a good sign. He is for some reason sneezing a lot though. I'm not sure. I've never seen that one before, so
I think it's more
that's a new one
the
for me.
attacks from Cuba.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this fucking goddamn Cubans.
The Cubans are attacking Chris now.
This is what we were talking about. It's very bad.
It's very bad. What happened down there was real bad.
And yep. And now they're multiplying. So you can find us at grownuphumans.com. And not only is Chris drunk as fuck, but Trevor just woke up from a drunken nap, so he looks like a demon right now.
Trevor and I fought demons earlier.
You can find us at grownuphumans.com, Epicast Network.
Trevor just took his shirt off.
.com. Dan, take a picture of that. / grownuphumans.
Look at Trevor's tits.
iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, YouTube, Grown Up
Like
Humans,
he's rubbing
Comic
belly
People.
lint on me.
Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram at Grown Up Humans. That is enough of that. There is. Well, Instagram's going to get some good pictures today. Post that one right now. All right. I'll go around the table. Everybody could say goodbye, Chris. Jared.
See ya.
Dan.
See you guys tomorrow.
I'm Jared. I'll see you guys. Oh, I see you in Tomorrowland.
See you guys in Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Terrible episode. Terrible.